Good evening and thank you for joining us. Here is our nightly edition of Just the News. Everything that you need to know about what's happening in India and around the world, including sports, science and technology and business, all wrapped up in a neat packet of about 10 minutes. Let's get straight to it. It is, of course, the 12th of March and here is your news for today. To begin with, in a shocking development, the National Child Rights Body, the NCPCR, has asked Netflix to stop streaming the new show Bombay Begums in the next 24 hours, citing inappropriate portrayal of children. Now, the Commission apparently has taken action based on complaints that it has received about alleged scenes in this film, in this show, that normalizes casual sex and drug abuse among children. It is said that this content could, and I quote, pollute young minds and result in the abuse and exploitation of children. According to the PTI, the National Child Rights Body has asked Netflix to furnish a detailed action report within the next 24 hours, failing which they could face appropriate legal action. Now, we don't know exactly what legal action is being suggested here. The objection, according to the NCPCR, particularly involves inappropriate portrayal of children in the series, which includes drug abuse and casual sex. Now remember that this show on Netflix is rated 18 plus and is very clearly marked as content not suited for children. So we don't really know when the NCPCR says polluting young minds, are they saying effectively the children are watching the content, or what do they mean by that? We're still waiting to find out. There has been no response, no official comment from Netflix so far. In the story about Zomato and the Zomato delivery individual who has been accused of attacking a customer and punching her, we now understand that Zomato has released a statement as well. Now, this is what happened. The food delivery platform Zomato has released a statement saying that it's providing support to the Instagram influencer who was the victim of the alleged attack and their delivery partner who was the accused. So basically, on Wednesday in Bangalore, Hitesha Chandrani alleged that a delivery agent, Kamraj, punched her in the face and left her bleeding when she demanded why the delivery was late. Her video went viral and the agent in question was arrested and questioned for 2 hours and later released on conditional bail. The delivery agent has now spoken with the News Minute, the news platform, and said that the customer in this case was the person to blame because first she began, according to him, verbally abusing him, then she hit him with a slipper, and in the process accidentally hurt herself during the incident and caused herself to bleed. Following this, Zomato co-founder Deepinder Goyal has said the company has reached out to both individuals. They're covering the Hitesha, the victim's medical expenses, and Kamraj's legal expenses. Deepinder added that Zomato temporarily has suspended Kamraj from activities relating to deliveries, but is covering his earnings for the time being. In the Supreme Court, Justice Indu Malhotra, one of the two judges that we have in the Supreme Court, retired today, was her last working day. Justice Indira Banerjee now is the only woman on India's Supreme Court. Justice Malhotra was designated a senior advocate back in 2007 and became the first woman lawyer to be directly elevated from the bar to the top judiciary on 26th of April 2018. She has given many very important judgments in her term and is highly respected among lawyers and, of course, other judges of the court. Chief Justice Bobde has said that he has not seen a finer judge than her and added that she's a great role model for younger advocates. He also said her judgments are filled with knowledge and firmness. In her parting words, Justice Malhotra says she was blessed to serve on the bench of the Supreme Court. In Calcutta, Mamata Banerjee, the Chief Minister, has been discharged from hospital. According to doctors at Kolkata's SSKM hospital, where the Chief Minister was admitted, she apparently has responded well to treatment and has been discharged with appropriate instructions. Doctors said she suffered severe bone injuries to her left ankle and her foot, besides injuries to her right shoulder, forearm and neck. There were, of course, visuals in the media of Mamata Banerjee leaving the hospital in a wheelchair. As Maharashtra's COVID cases continue to surge, Pune is going to face stricter restrictions. Remember, Pune right now has the highest number of daily reported cases in the country as a city. There has been no change right now for Pune made to the night curfew timings, which is between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. Schools will remain closed until the 31st of this month. Dine-in facilities at restaurants and bars will be closed at 10 p.m. Deliveries will be allowed till 11 p.m. For social and religious functions, you can only have 50 people at a time indoors and 100 people at a time outdoors. The Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation Commissioner Rajesh Patil in the meantime has said that if people who are currently in home isolation leave their homes, they will face police action. Also, Maharashtra's Cabinet Minister Nawab Malik has said that there will be a lockdown in Maharashtra's Parbhani from tonight, midnight, up to Monday morning at 6 a.m. Altogether across the country, India has reported 23,285 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. We've had about 15,000 recoveries, 117 deaths. Maharashtra alone has reported 14,000 new cases out of that total number. That's more than half of the number of cases across the country, which is why we're seeing pockets of lockdown take place across Maharashtra. Remember, we told you about the lockdown in Nagpur that was announced yesterday. On to the toolkit case, which isn't being mentioned, interestingly, too much in the mainstream media, but there is movement in that case. After activists Nikita Jacob and Shantanu Muluk, climate activist Shubham Kar Chaudhary has been granted interim relief by a Delhi court in that toolkit case. He's been given protection from arrest until the 15th of March. Now, during a brief hearing, the police had asked for the court to adjourn the matter until the 15th of March because the anticipatory bail applications of Disha Ravi and Shantanu Muluk will be scheduled for hearing on the 15th as well. This is, remember, for those of you who have forgotten, the Delhi police registered the case of sedition on the 4th of February and promoting hatred among groups of people, criminal conspiracy. On that toolkit case, Disha Ravi was arrested based on that case in Bangalore, brought to Delhi, granted bail on the 23rd of February. Her case comes up for hearing again on the 15th of March. Netflix is now apparently testing a new feature that will stop people from sharing passwords. Netflix's new feature is meant to crack down on people sharing passwords. Apparently, reports suggest that a third of Netflix's users have shared their password with other people. Based on this particular system, if you don't live with the owner of the account, you will need to keep your own account to continue watching Netflix, or you will have to basically start your own 30-day trial as well. That'll be disappointing for a lot of people who are watching Netflix with borrowed passwords. An update on the case right now of the explosives that were found outside of Mukesh Ambani's home. Now, there was a Telegram channel, remember, on which a terror group had taken responsibility for this action. Now, that Telegram channel has been traced to a barrack at Tihar jail where Indian Mujahideen terrorist Tehseen Akhtar is currently being held. Now, it was revealed by a raid of the Delhi police at the barrack housing of Tehseen Akhtar, during which a mobile phone used to create the Telegram channel was found. The mobile phone has been seized and the police are interrogating Akhtar right now. Just to give you an background of who this individual is, Tehseen Akhtar was arrested following the 2014 serial blasts in Patna, targeting Narendra Modi's rally during the elections in 2014. He is also linked to serial blasts in Hyderabad and Bodh Gaya. On to some news from the world of business. Adani Group's Gautam Adani has apparently added more money to his personal fortune in 1 year than any other person in the world. He has beaten the likes of Jeff Bezos for the biggest wealth surge in the last financial year. According to Bloomberg, Gautam Adani this year has been the biggest world gainer. He's gained more money in 1 year than Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. The net worth of Gautam Adani jumped from $16.2 billion to $50 billion in 1 year. In the same time, Mukesh Ambani's net worth increased by $8 billion. A look at news coming in from the international space right now. UN human rights investigator Thomas Andrews has said that Myanmar security forces have murdered at least 70 people since the military coup on the 1st of February. More than half of those who were killed were under the age of 25. He added that 2,000 people have been unlawfully detained since the 1st of February and violence is steadily increasing. He also cited growing evidence of crimes against humanity, including murder, prosecution and torture in the country right now. Meanwhile, South Korea's foreign ministry has said it will suspend defense exchanges with Myanmar and ban arms exports to the country over the violent suppression of anti-coup protesters. In Europe, Denmark has announced a suspension of the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine after reports that several people who were vaccinated developed blood clots. Danish authorities have said this is a precautionary measure because it has not fully been determined for the time being if there is a link between the vaccine and the blood clots. Other European countries, though, that have also suspended the use of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine are Norway, Iceland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Luxembourg. European Medicines Agency has said that as of the 9th of March, 22 cases of blood clots have been reported in more than 3 million people who have been vaccinated across the Europe Economic Area. Meanwhile, Thailand has delayed the rollout of the Oxford AstraZeneca COVID vaccine over reports of blood clots in Europe. A quick update from the world of science and technology. Google is rolling out a new feature for Google Maps, which includes the ability to draw new or missing roads. Users will get a new road editing tool on the desktop to make it easier for them to report changes in roads. If users spot a road missing on Google Maps, they can click on the side menu button and go to Edit Map and choose Missing Roads. The new road editing tool will make it easier for millions of people who find that the Google Maps is not accurate at this point and want to report route changes. According to Google, the new experience will be called Drawing, which will be similar to using a line tool in Microsoft Paint. Moving on now to news from the world of sports. Indian cricket captain Mithali Raj on Friday became the first woman cricketer in India and the second woman in the world to score 10,000 international runs. Mithali, playing her 212th ODI for India, achieved the landmark during the third match with South Africa in the bilateral series. She scored altogether 75 half centuries and 8 centuries in international cricket. Previously, former England captain Charlotte Edwards was the only woman to have scored more than 10,000 runs in international cricket. Leaving you with a bit of positive news before we wrap up on this Friday night. In an attempt to provide healthcare for everybody, the Delhi Sikh Gurudwara Management Committee has launched a diagnostics centre in the Gurudwara Bangla Sahib complex. The centre will conduct MRIs for just 50 rupees. Other services and tests will also be conducted at similar nominal rates. Also, UK resident Adam Costello has become the world's second person to be completely cured of HIV. Remember, HIV has up until now only been managed but has never really been cured. Costello was cured after receiving stem cell treatment for cancer. It is now a year since they first announced that he was clear of the virus and he remains HIV free. Similar treatment was also remedied to Timothy Brown, who was the first person to be cured of HIV. This comes as donor cells replace 99% of the immune cells and basically are able to then cure HIV. So that's really our wrap on the news today. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to give us your feedback. Let us know if there's anything else you'd like us to cover. And please I ask you share this video with people you think will find this useful. The more you're able to share this video, the more encouragement it is for us. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend.